The boy stood barefoot in the garden, his clothes torn and dirty. His stomach growled with hunger, but his eyes were brave and steady. He looked at the billionaire, the richest man in the entire city, and said something that made the world stop spinning. "Your daughter isn't blind, sir. It's your wife who put something in her food." The billionaire's name was Mr. Harrison. He owned tall buildings that touched the sky, fancy cars that shine like mirrors, and a mansion so big you could get lost inside it. But right now, standing in his beautiful garden with roses and fountains, he felt small, very small. "What'd you say?" Mr. Harrison whispered. His heart banged in his chest like a drum. The boy didn't look away. Most people were scared of Mr. Harrison, but this boy, whose name was Tommy, had lived on the streets. He had fought dogs for scraps of bread. He had slept in the cold rain. Fear of a rich man didn't scare him anymore. "I saw her, sir, through the kitchen window, 3 months ago when I was looking for food in your garbage bins." Tommy pointed to the big kitchen window that faced a back alley. "Your wife was crushing pills into a small bowl, white pills. Then she mixed them into something yellow, maybe soup or juice. And then—" Tommy's voice got quieter. "Then she took it upstairs to your daughter's room." Mr. Harrison felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. His daughter, Lily, was only 7 years old. She had the sweetest smile and loved to draw pictures of butterflies. But 6 months ago, something terrible happened. Lily woke up one morning and couldn't see. Everything was dark. The doctors said it was a mystery. They did tests and scans, took her blood, shined lights in her eyes. Nothing worked. The doctors finally said, "Sometimes these things just happen. We're sorry." And Mr. Harrison believed them. Why wouldn't he? Doctors were smart. They went to school for many years. They wouldn't lie. But now this boy, this poor, hungry boy with no shoes, was saying something different, something horrible. "Why should I believe you?" Mr. Harrison asked, but his voice shook. Deep down, something told him the boy was telling the truth. Tommy reached into his torn pocket and pulled out a small piece of paper. It was wrinkled and dirty, but Mr. Harrison could still read it. It was a receipt from a pharmacy. The date was 7 months ago, 1 month before Lily lost her sight. The medicine name was long and complicated, but at the bottom, someone had written in pen, "For sleep. Strong dose. Be careful." "I found this in your garbage, too," Tommy said. "I kept it because I thought maybe someday it would matter. My mama used to say, 'Tommy, when you see something wrong, you got to speak up, even if you're scared.' My mama's gone now, but I still remember what she said." Mr. Harrison took the receipt with trembling hands. He recognized the handwriting at the bottom. It was his wife's. His wife, Victoria. Victoria was beautiful. She had golden hair that cascaded down her back like a waterfall and wore dresses that cost more than most people's cars. When Mr. Harrison married her 5 years ago, he thought he was the luckiest man alive. She was elegant, charming, and everyone loved her at fancy parties. But lately, something had changed. Victoria seemed distant, cold. She spent more time on her phone, whispering conversations in locked rooms. She went shopping every day but came home with no bags. And strangest of all, she insisted, absolutely insisted, on being the only one to feed Lily breakfast and dinner. "I'm her mother," Victoria would say with a tight smile. A mother should care for her sick child. At the time, Mr. Harrison thought it was sweet. Now his blood ran cold. "Come with me," Mr. Harrison told Tommy. His voice was different now, harder, determined. "Show me exactly where you saw her." Tommy led Mr. Harrison to the side of the mansion, where the kitchen window looked out onto the alley. It was a window the family never used, covered by thick curtains inside. Mr. Harrison had walked past it 1,000 times and never thought about it. But from the alley, if you stood on an old crate, you could see right into the kitchen. Tommy climbed onto the crate. "I stood here," he said. "It was night time. The kitchen light was on. I was so hungry, sir. I just wanted to find some old bread or chicken bones. But then I saw her." Mr. Harrison looked through the window. He could see the kitchen counter, the stove, the refrigerator. And there, on the far counter near the spice rack, was a small wooden box he'd never noticed before. It looked old and was painted with flowers. "What's in that box?" Tommy asked, pointing. "I don't know," Mr. Harrison admitted. "I've never seen it before." But he was going to find out. Mr. Harrison's mind raced backward through time. He remembered the morning Lily woke up blind. Victoria had screamed. Or had she? Now that he thought about it carefully, Victoria's scream seemed practiced, like an actress in a play. And her tears, they came quickly but dried even faster. He remembered asking Victoria, "What happened? What could have caused this?" And Victoria had hugged him and said, "Oh, darling, sometimes God tests us. We must be strong. God tests us." Those words felt wrong now. Poisonous. Mr. Harrison also remembered something else. 3 weeks before Lily lost her sight, he had told Victoria he was changing his will. Lily would inherit everything when she turned 18. Victoria had smiled and said, "Of course, darling, she's your daughter." But her smile hadn't reached her eyes. And then another memory surfaced, sharp as broken glass. Victoria had asked him once, if something happened to Lily, if she got very sick and needed constant care forever, would you hire nurses, or would you want to quit my charity work and stay home? Mr. Harrison had laughed and said, "Nothing's going to happen to Lily. She's healthy as a horse." But Victoria had pressed. "But if it did, then we get the best care money can buy," he'd answered. "You shouldn't have to give up your life." Victoria had gone very quiet after that, and 2 weeks later, Lily woke up blind. Now, standing in the alley with Tommy, Mr. Harrison felt sick. How could he have been so blind himself? He worked 16 hours a day, building his empire, making more millions. He barely saw Lily anymore. He barely saw anyone. He trusted Victoria to run the home while he ran the business. And Victoria had betrayed that trust in the worst way possible. "Thank you," Mr. Harrison said to Tommy. His voice cracked with emotion. "Thank you for being brave. Thank you for telling the truth when you had every reason to stay silent." Tommy shuffled his feet. "Will you help Miss Lily, sir?" "Yes," Mr. Harrison said, and it was a promise, a vow. "I will help my daughter, and I will make sure justice is done." He looked at the mansion, his big, beautiful, expensive mansion that suddenly felt like a prison. Somewhere inside, Victoria was probably sipping tea, planning her next move. And somewhere inside, Lily sat in darkness, trusting her mother, not knowing that the person who should protect her was the one hurting her. But that was about to change. Mr. Harrison pulled out his phone. His hands shook as he dialed. When someone answered, he said 3 words that would change everything. "I need help." Mr. Harrison didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Tommy's brave face and heard those terrible words. "Your wife put something in her food." He sat in his office, the one room in the mansion where he felt safe. The room was filled with awards and photos of himself shaking hands with presidents and famous people. But tonight, those things felt empty, meaningless. What good was all his success if he couldn't protect his own daughter? At midnight, he made a plan. First, he called his most trusted friend, Dr. Chun. Dr. Chun was a children's doctor who had known Lily since she was born. Mr. Harrison trusted him more than anyone. "I need you to examine Lily again," Mr. Harrison said quietly into the phone. "But don't tell anyone. Not the nurses. Not my wife. No one." Dr. Chin heard the fear in his voice. "What's wrong, Harrison?" "I think someone has been hurting her. On purpose." There was silence on the other end. Then Dr. Chin said, "I'll come tomorrow morning, early, before your wife wakes up." Second, Mr. Harrison did something he'd never done before. He went sneaking through his own house like a thief. He waited until Victoria was asleep, her golden hair spread across the silk pillow. She looked like an angel, but Mr. Harrison knew now that angels could have dark hearts. He tiptoed downstairs to the kitchen. The house was so quiet he could hear his own heartbeat. He walked to the counter where he'd seen the small wooden box through the window. His hands trembled as he reached for it. The box was locked. Of course it was locked. Victoria was clever. She wouldn't leave evidence lying around for anyone to find. Mr. Harrison looked around the kitchen. Where would she hide the key? He checked drawers, lifted jars, felt under shelves. Nothing. He was about to give up when he noticed something. The flower painting on the box. One of the painted petals was slightly raised, like a tiny bump. He pressed it. Click. The box opened. Inside, Mr. Harrison found things that made his blood turn to ice. There were 3 bottles of pills. The labels said they were sleeping medicines, very strong ones. There was also a small notebook. With shaking hands, Mr. Harrison opened it. Victoria had been keeping records. Day 1. Gave Lily half a pill in her orange juice. She seemed sleepy at lunch. Day 8. Increased to 1 full pill. She complained her eyes felt heavy. Day 15. 2 pills. She said everything looked blurry. Good. Day 23. 3 pills. She woke up screaming that she couldn't see. Called the doctors. Must act very worried and sad. Mr. Harrison dropped the notebook like it was on fire. His wife, the woman he'd married, the woman he'd trusted with his child, had been poisoning Lily slowly, carefully, deliberately, and she'd written it all down like it was a cooking recipe. But why? Why would anyone do this to an innocent child? He kept reading, and the answer jumped off the page in Victoria's neat handwriting. If Lily stays blind, Harrison will feel guilty for working so much. He'll want to make it up to her. He'll give me control of his medical decisions for her. And when the time is right, when everyone sees how devoted I am, I'll suggest putting Lily in a special care home. Then Harrison will be mine alone. No more sharing his attention. No more competing with a child. And best of all, with Lily in a home, Harrison will update his will. Everything will come to me. Mr. Harrison felt tears burning his eyes. This wasn't just about hurting Lily. This was about money, greed, control. Victoria wanted his fortune, and she was willing to destroy a little girl to get it. He took photos of everything with his phone. Every page of the notebook, every pill bottle, every piece of evidence. Then he carefully put everything back exactly as he'd found it. Victoria couldn't know that he knew. Not yet. At 6 a.m, Dr. Chen arrived through the back door. Mr. Harrison had sent Victoria's personal maid away for the day, claiming she needed a vacation. Victoria was still asleep. They went to Lily's room together. Lily was awake, sitting in her bed, her hands touching the stuffed rabbit Mr. Harrison had given her for her birthday. She couldn't see it, but she held it like it was the most precious thing in the world. "Daddy," she said, hearing his footsteps. "Is that you?" "Yes, sweetheart," Mr. Harrison said, fighting to keep his voice steady. "Dr. Chen is here. He wants to check your eyes again." "But Mommy says the doctors can't help me anymore," Lily said softly. "Mommy says I'll be in the dark forever." Mr. Harrison's heart broke into 1,000,000 pieces. "Let's just try, okay? For me." Dr. Chen worked quickly and quietly. He shined lights in Lily's eyes. He used special tools to look deep inside. He took a tiny bit of her blood to test. And then he asked a question that changed everything. "Lily, sweetheart, has anyone been giving you special vitamins or drinks lately? Something that maybe makes you very sleepy?" Lily nodded. "Mommy gives me special juice every morning and every night. She says it's to make me strong. But it tastes funny, and it makes me want to sleep all day." Dr. Chen looked at Mr. Harrison. His face was pale and angry. They stepped into the hallway, closing Lily's door softly. "Her eyes are completely healthy," Dr. Chen whispered. "There's nothing physically wrong with them, but the blood test will tell us if there are drugs in her system. Harrison, if what you suspect is true." "It is true," Mr. Harrison said, showing Dr. Chen the photos on his phone. Dr. Chen read the notebook entries, and his hands curled into fists. As a doctor, he had taken an oath to protect children. This was the worst betrayal he'd ever seen. "We need to call the police," Dr. Chen said. "Right now." "I already did," Mr. Harrison said. "They're on their way." At that exact moment, they heard footsteps on the stairs. Victoria was awake. She came down wearing a beautiful silk robe, her hair perfect, her makeup already done. She smiled when she saw Dr. Chen. "Oh, doctor, What a nice surprise. Are you here to check on poor Lily? Her voice was sweet as honey. Her smile was warm as sunshine. If Mr. Harrison hadn't read her notebook, he would have believed she was a perfect, caring mother. But he had read it, and he would never forget. Victoria, Mr. Harrison said calmly, we need to talk. Something in his voice made her smile falter. Just for a second, fear flashed in her eyes. But she recovered quickly. Of course, darling. What about? Mr. Harrison pulled out his phone and showed her the photos. About this. Victoria's face went white, then red, then white again. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. For the first time in 5 years, she had no clever words. I can explain, she finally whispered. Explain. Mr. Harrison's voice rose. Explain how you poisoned our daughter? Explain how you blinded a 7-year-old child for money? She's not even your real daughter. Victoria screamed, and suddenly the beautiful mask cracked completely. Her face twisted with ugly rage. She's from your first marriage. She's not my child. Why should she get everything? Why should she inherit your fortune when I'm the one who's been by your side? Mr. Harrison stared at her like she was a stranger, and he'd never really known her at all. Lily is my daughter, he said quietly, and you tried to destroy her. The doorbell rang. Victoria's eyes went wide with panic. Who's that? The police, Mr. Harrison said. Victoria ran. She actually ran, her silk robe flowing behind her like wings. She ran for the back door, but Dr. Chin was already standing there, blocking her way. It's over, Victoria, Dr. Chin said. The police came in, 2 officers, a man and a woman. Mr. Harrison showed them everything. The notebook, the pills, the photos. Dr. Chin explained about Lily's healthy eyes and the drugs probably in her blood. They arrested Victoria right there in the kitchen, the same kitchen where she crushed pills and planned her evil deeds. She screamed. She cried. She begged. Harrison, please. I love you. I made a mistake. Please don't do this. But Mr. Harrison turned away. He went upstairs to Lily's room and held his daughter close. Daddy, Lily whispered. Why is Mommy screaming? Because she did something very wrong, sweetheart, Mr. Harrison said gently. But you're safe now. I promise you're safe. Through the window, he saw them putting Victoria in the police car. Neighbors were coming out of their houses, watching, whispering. By tomorrow, it would be in all the newspapers. Billionaire's wife arrested for poisoning stepdaughter. His perfect life, his perfect reputation, his perfect image, all shattered. But as he held Lily, feeling her heartbeat against his chest, Mr. Harrison realized something. He didn't care about any of that. Let them write their stories. Let them gossip and judge. All that mattered was this. His daughter was alive, and she was going to be okay. Dr. Chen came upstairs with good news. I called a specialist. If we stop the drugs immediately and start treatment, Lily's sight should come back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. Lily gasped. Really? I can see again. Really? Dr. Chen promised. And for the first time in 6 months, Lily smiled a real smile. A smile full of hope. Mr. Harrison hugged her tighter and whispered, I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry I worked so much and missed so much. But I'm here now, and I'm never leaving again. Outside, the police car drove away, taking Victoria to a place where she couldn't hurt anyone anymore. Inside, a father held his daughter and made a promise to be better. The sun rose higher in the sky, pouring golden light through the windows. And in that light, healing began. 3 days after Victoria's arrest, something wonderful happened. Lily was sitting in the garden, the same garden where Tommy had first spoken the truth. The morning sun was warm on her face. She was touching the soft petals of a rose, learning the world through her fingers since her eyes still saw only darkness. Then she gasped, Daddy, Daddy, I see something. Mr. Harrison dropped his coffee cup and ran to her. What? What do you see? Light. Lily cried, tears streaming down her cheeks. I see light. It's not all dark anymore. There's brightness. Dr. Chen had warned them this would happen slowly. The drugs Victoria had given Lily were leaving her body bit by bit, day by day. First would come light and shadow, then shapes, then colors, and finally, if they were lucky, her full sight would return. Mr. Harrison scooped Lily into his arms and spun her around, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. "You're coming back to us, sweetheart. You're coming back." Tommy watched from nearby, a huge smile on his thin face. Mr. Harrison had invited the boy to stay at the mansion while Lily recovered. At first, Tommy was scared. He'd never lived in a big house before. He didn't know which fork to use at dinner. He was afraid he'd break something expensive. But Lily had grabbed his hand on that first day and said, "You saved me, Tommy. You're a hero. Please stay." And how could he say no to that? Every day, Lily's sight got a little better. By the end of the first week, she could see shapes, blurry, like looking through foggy glass, but shapes nonetheless. She saw Tommy's outline and reached for him. "You're tall," she said, surprised. Tommy laughed. "And you're short." By the second week, colors came back. Lily saw the red of the roses, the blue of the sky, the green of the grass. She cried when she saw her father's face, clearly for the first time in 6 months. "You look tired, Daddy," she said, touching the dark circles under his eyes. "I've been worried about you," Mr. Harrison admitted. "But now I can rest. You're getting better." But Mr. Harrison wasn't just sitting around waiting. He was changing. Really, truly changing. First, he did something he'd never done before. He cut his work hours in half. His business partners were shocked. "But Harrison, you have meetings, contracts, deals." "And I have a daughter," he said firmly. "The deals can wait. Lily can't." He started eating breakfast with Lily every morning. Not fancy meals prepared by chefs, but simple things. Toast with jam, scrambled eggs, orange juice. They talked about her dreams, her favorite colors, what she wanted to be when she grew up. "I want to help other kids like me," Lily said one morning. "Kids who are sick and scared." Those words planted a seed in Mr. Harrison's heart. He started eating dinner with Lily and Tommy every evening. He helped with homework. He read bedtime stories. He tucked her in and kissed her forehead and said, "I love you," every single night. These were small things, simple things. But to Lily, they were everything. One evening, 3 weeks after Victoria's arrest, Lily looked at her father with her newly clear eyes and asked, "Daddy, why did Mommy love me?" Mr. Harrison's heart broke. He sat on her bed and took her small hands in his big ones. "That wasn't about you, sweetheart," he said gently. "Some people have sick hearts. Not sick like a cold or flu, but sick with greed and selfishness. Your mommy made very bad choices. But that has nothing to do with you. You are wonderful. You are lovable. And anyone who can't see that is the one who's really blind." Lily thought about this. Then she said, "I'm glad Tommy could see the truth. I'm glad he was brave." "Me too," Mr. Harrison said, "which is why I have something to ask you. How would you feel if Tommy became part of our family? Not just a guest, but really part of our family." Lily's eyes went wide. "Really? Tommy could stay forever." "If he wants to," Mr. Harrison said. They asked Tommy that very night. The boy, who'd lived on streets and eaten from garbage cans, who'd never had a real home, burst into tears. "Yes," he whispered. "Yes, please. I want to stay." And just like that, their family grew. But Mr. Harrison didn't stop there. Lily's words about helping other sick kids echoed in his mind. He thought about all the children out there whose parents didn't notice when something was wrong. Or worse, parents who hurt their children on purpose, like Victoria had. He called a meeting with Dr. Chun and several other doctors he trusted. "I want to start a foundation," Mr. Harrison said. "A place where children can get free medical checkups, where doctors look for signs that something is wrong at home, where kids are safe and protected." Dr. Chin smiled. "That's a beautiful idea, Harrison." They called it Lily's Light Foundation. The name made Lily so happy she jumped up and down. Mr. Harrison bought a building right in the center of the city and turned it into a medical center. Doctors volunteered their time. Nurses came to help. They offered free eye exams, blood tests, and health screenings for any child who needed them. But it was more than just medical care. There were counselors who talked to kids in private. Is everything okay at home? They'd ask gently. Does anyone hurt you? Are you scared of anyone? Because Mr. Harrison had learned a terrible lesson. Sometimes the danger isn't outside the home. Sometimes it's inside, hiding behind a pretty smile and expensive perfume. In the first month, Lily's Light Foundation helped 200 children. They found 3 kids who were being given the wrong medicines by careless babysitters. They discovered one child whose stepfather was making him sick on purpose to get sympathy money from neighbors. They helped a little girl whose grandmother didn't understand that her old heart medicine was too strong for a child. Every child saved felt like a small victory. Mr. Harrison invited Tommy to help at the foundation. Tommy, who understood hunger and fear and being alone, was amazing with the other kids. They trusted him. They told him secrets they wouldn't tell adults. One day, a small girl whispered to Tommy, "My uncle gives me pills and tells me not to tell anyone." Tommy immediately told the doctors. They investigated and found out the uncle was using leftover medicines from his own prescriptions to calm down the active child. It was dangerous. It was wrong. And thanks to Tommy, they stopped it. "You're still saving people," Lily told Tommy proudly. "We're saving them together," Tommy said. 6 months after the nightmare began, there was a court hearing. Victoria stood before a judge, no longer beautiful and charming. Prison had taken away her makeup, her fancy clothes, her fake smile. She looked small and mean. The judge read her crimes out loud: child endangerment, poisoning, attempted fraud, conspiracy. Victoria was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Mr. Harrison attended the hearing with Lily and Tommy by his side. When it was over, Lily said something that surprised everyone. "I forgive her, Daddy." Mr. Harrison looked down at his daughter in amazement. "You do?" "Yes," Lily said, "because Dr. Chin says holding on to anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick. I don't want poison in my life anymore. Not in my food, not in my heart." The 7-year-old child who had suffered so much was teaching her billionaire father about real strength. Mr. Harrison hugged her tight. "You're wiser than I'll ever be." That evening, the whole family, Mr. Harrison, Lily, and Tommy, went back to the garden where it all started. The sun was setting, painting the sky pink and orange and purple. Lily could see every color now. Her sight had returned completely. She was whole again. "Look," she pointed at a butterfly landing on a rose. "It's beautiful." Mr. Harrison watched his daughter run through the garden, laughing, chasing butterflies, alive and free. Tommy ran with her, both children shrieking with joy. This was what money should buy, Mr. Harrison thought. Not bigger houses or fancier cars, but safety, joy, second chances. He pulled out his phone and recorded a video of the children playing. Then he posted it to social media with a message. 6 months ago, I almost lost my daughter, not to an accident or an illness, but to greed and neglect, including my own. I was so busy building an empire that I forgot to build a relationship. But a brave boy named Tommy reminded me what really matters: paying attention to the children we love. Today, Lily's sight has returned, and so has mine. If you're reading this, please remember, children need your time more than your money. They need your presence more than your presence. Don't wait for a tragedy to realize what you have. See them, really see them, before it's too late. He added at the end, if this message helped you, please like, share, and subscribe to Lily's Light Foundation. Together, we can protect children everywhere. Together, we can make sure no child suffers in silence. The video went viral. Millions of people watched it. Thousands shared their own stories of almost missing what mattered. The foundation received donations from people all over the world. Not just from rich people, but from poor people too, giving $5, $10, whatever they could spare. Because everyone understood the message. Children are precious, and protecting them is everyone's job. Mr. Harrison used the donations to open more centers in different cities. Lily's Light Foundation grew and grew. helping thousands of children each year. But every evening, no matter how many meetings he had or how many buildings needed opening, Mr. Harrison came home. He had dinner with his children. Yes, children, because Tommy was officially adopted now. He helped with homework. He listened to their stories. He tucked them in. And before turning off the lights, he always said the same thing. I love you, I see you, and I will always protect you. Because he learned that being rich wasn't about money. Being rich was about having people to love, and loving them well. 1 year after Tommy's brave words in the garden, there was a celebration at the mansion. Lily was 8 now. Tommy was 12, and both were happy and healthy. The garden was filled with people, doctors in the foundation, children they'd helped, families they'd saved. There was music and laughter and cake. Tommy stood up to make a speech. He was nervous, but Lily squeezed his hand, and he felt brave. A year ago, I was just a hungry kid looking for food in a garbage can, Tommy said. But I saw something wrong, and I had to speak up. My mama taught me that. And because I spoke up, Lily got her sight back. But more than that, Mr. Harrison got his sight back too. He started seeing what really matters. Everyone clapped. Mr. Harrison stood up next. Tommy's right. He saved more than Lily that day. He saved me from a life of blindness, not blindness of the eyes, but blindness of the heart. I was so focused on building wealth that I forgot to build love. But now I know the greatest fortune isn't in my bank account. It's right here. He gestured to Lily and Tommy. It's in the children we protect, the time we spend together, and the difference we make in this world. He raised his glass. To Tommy, the bravest boy I know. To Lily, the strongest girl in the world. And to every child out there, may you always be seen, heard, and loved. Cheers, everyone shouted. As the sun set on the garden once more, Lily leaned against her father, Tommy on her other side. They watched the sky turn from blue to pink to purple to dark. Daddy, Lily said, I'm glad I can see again. But you know what I'm most glad about? What, sweetheart? That even when I was blind, you finally learned to see. Mr. Harrison smiled, tears in his eyes. Me too, Lily. Me too. The stars came out, twinkling above the mansion that was no longer just a fortress of wealth, but a home of love. And somewhere in that starlight, Tommy's mother was smiling down, proud of her brave boy who spoke truth to power and changed the world. Remember, children need our time, not just our comfort. They need our attention, not just our money. See them, really see them, before it's too late. If this story touched your heart, please share, and subscribe to spread this message. Together, we can protect children everywhere. Together, we can make sure love wins over greed, and truth wins over lies. Thank you for reading Lily's story. May it remind us all to see clearly the precious children in our lives.